Assalamu alaikum to all the dear students. So I'm making this video for all the students who are studying Muslims in subcontinent and they have to study the Ghaznavids Ghurids, Delhi Sultanate and then the Muslim in subcontinent like the Mughal Empire they have to do. So this video is for all of those who have already done the reading and wants to go through the important points. So I thought I will be explaining you the important terms as well as we will discuss few points which are important in this chapter, and that will also serve as a helpful resource for you, which will help you prepare. So, starting with the Muslims in the subcontinent, all this data which I will be using in these notes is taken from your book, so you can go through your book first, and then you can go through these points, or you can go through these points and then read from the book and highlight the important things which are given in the notes onto your book, which will be helpful for you in the end of your exam or your CATs. So first of all, we need to know the timeline, okay? The key events that are discussed in your book. So I've made the table accordingly. From 977 to 1186, we have Ghaznavid Empire, which was started by Subuktigin, who was the founder, and then Mahmud of Ghazni is one of the influential personality that is discussed in the chapter. Turkic empires are extended from Central Asia to Indus Valley. So basically, that's their significance. Then we have the time of the Mahmud of Ghaznavi. We must know in the timelines 1997 to 2030. Mahmud of Ghazni conducted 17 raids into the subcontinent. Most famously is the conquest of the Somnath, after which he was successful to do so. 1024, then obviously the conquest of Somnath, which was done. Somnath was a very wealthy Indian temple in Indus Valley, which was conquered by Mahmud of Ghazni. Mahmud of Ghazni, a major event of Mahmud's reign, targeting a famous Hindu temple in Gujarat. 1173 to 1206, which was the reign of Muhammad of War. Muhammad of War defeated Prithviraj Chauhan and established Muslim rule in northern India. So this was the time when the Hindu Empire was defeated in the north of the India and was taken over by a Muslim empire. And Mahmud of War time was after which we have seen in the history that Muslims have actually developed this idea of taking over the land in this South Asia and starting to develop there. That was the time when this idea got the life. 1191 to 92, there was Battle of Tarin, which was between Muhammad of War versus Prithviraj Chauhan. Two battles were fought. Muhammad of War lost the first, but decisively won the second in 1192. The victory paved the way for the Delhi Sultanate that we will be discussing after these two. Then from 1206 to 1290, we have slave dynasty, which is also known as the Mamluk dynasty. Qutbuddin Aibak was the one who was the powerful person. Then this book here features about the Iltutmish. Then we have Razia Sultana and Balban. And the first dynasty of Delhi Sultanate was founded by the slave general of Mahmud of War, Muhammad of War, and that's how slave dynasty started. Then 1290 to 1320, we have Khalji dynasty. Jalaluddin Khilji and Alauddin Khilji are the dominant personalities known for Alauddin Khilji military reforms, successful defense against the Mongol invasions and expansion into southern, like from north to south, they started to expand. Then we have Tughlaq dynasty, Ghiyasuddin Tughlaq, Muhammad bin Tughlaq, Firoz Shah Tughlaq. They're all the influential personalities. They are famous for controversial experiments like shifting the capital from one place to another, and they are famous for infrastructural development like urban development. Then Timur invades the Delhi. The invasion ended the Tughlaq Empire and caused massive destruction. Then Sayyid started their rule. Khazar Khan was one of the influential personalities in the Sayyid dynasty, claimed descendants from the Prophet Muhammad, ruled a much reduced Delhi Sultanate, like very short period, very short area they ruled. Last one was the Lodi dynasty. Behlul Lodi was the powerful person who founded it. Then Sikandar Lodi and Ibrahim Lodi, like the third generation, was defeated by the Mughal invasion, which was done by Babur. First battle of Panipat then was fought between Babur versus Ibrahim Lodi, and Babur victory ended the Delhi Sultanate and marked the beginning of the Mughal Empire. So this is what part one includes. Timeline we must know for a general idea of how things work, and it will be helpful for you to understand the main points. Now, when we officially start talking about the important things, we first talk about after Muhammad bin Qasim, the rise of the Turks, how it happened, and what it led to. 300-year gaps after Muhammad bin Qasim conquest of Sindh, there was no significant Muslim conquest for about 300 years. The area remained dominated by Hindu empires. Then new invaders, they did not came from the Arabs, they came from Turks who entered the subcontinent from the north, from the Khyber Pass. And that's how the Turkic power remained in. Arabs were not in control of the area, but the Turkic people were. So Turks were initially captured and sold as slaves by the Umayyads. They were caught from them under the Abbasid. Many Turks converted to Islam and joined the army, and then Abbasid Caliphate weakened. Turkic army officers gained the power, and then they built their own power and built their own setup, and that's how the Turks became powerful in the subcontinent. Then the Ghaznavid Empire started in 1977 to 1186. Foundation was taken as a Turkic commander conquered Ghazna, which is also known as Ghazni. His son-in-law Subakhtiyar established the Ghaznavid Empire. Mahmud of Ghazni is one of the influential personality who took the title of Sultan, attacked the subcontinent 17 times. Motivation behind attacking the subcontinent were following reasons. Religiously, he wanted to do the jihad against the Hindu temples and wanted to take over the place to expand Islam. Then political and strategic ambition was to expand his territory to gain a lot because the Indian temples used to be very wealthy. They would put a lot of money into it due to their belief. Due for his reputation and legacy to be known as a great Muslim conqueror. Then he also had a good power over the area because the local governments there were weak to fight against him. And he did the famous conquest of the Somnath Temple, Gujarat in 1025. And the consequences that he had to face after it was that exposed the weakness and disunity of the Indian military, like consequences the people in that area had to face, played a vital role in the spread of Islam, weakened the northwestern border, paving the way for later Islamic empires. Then he died in 1013 in Ghazni, and Lahore became an important cultural center of the empire known as Mahmudpur. Then we had the Ghurid Empire. The Ghurids were Afghan tribesmen from the mountainous regions of Ghur between Ghazni and Herat. Then Mahmud of Ghor, his reign started from 1173 to 1206. He did Battle of Tarain. The first battle was, as we have discussed earlier, Prithviraj Chauhan. He lost the first battle, and then second one he won. And the significance was that it started to become a turning point for establishment of Muslim rule in northern India, and it formed the Delhi Sultanate. Then the time of the Delhi Sultanate started from 1206 to 1526, like till the Mughal Empire started. It was founded by Qutbuddin Aibak, which was a Turk slave dynasty was started by Qutbuddin Aibak. He was the first sultan. He shifted the capital from Lahore to Delhi, and that's why we call it Delhi Sultanate. He laid the foundation of Islamic architecture. He made things such as Qutb Minar and Quwwatul Islam Mosque. Then Iltutmish, son-in-law of Qutbuddin Aibak, he took over the power after him. He consolidated the empire, set up a proper administration. He also gave himself like the title of Caliph of Baghdad, gave him the title of Sultan-e-Azam. He created the 40, a powerful nobleman corps like a unit who acted as his personal cabinet, which would do all the decisions for him. Then Razia Sultana, the first and only woman to rule a kingdom, she was a competent ruler but faced opposition from the nobles of the 40 who did not accept her a female ruler. She was eventually defeated and killed. Then Balban, a capable administration who rose to power for like a time being, he defended the Sultanate from Mongol invasions in Punjab, but he was not powerful enough. Khiljis took over. Jalaluddin Khilji took over at the age of 70 and faced many revolts. When Alauddin Khilji took the power, he was his nephew and son-in-law of Jalaluddin. He captured the throne. He made a lot of military reforms, like some of them discussed in your book. I built a garrison town called Seri for his soldiers, successfully repelled the Mongols 7 times. Uh, First Muslim ruler to conquer the central and southern India, and administration imposed heavy taxes with a strict collection system, so it was very difficult for people there. Then the Tughlaq took over the power. The Ghiyasuddin Tughlaq then took the power. Built the Tughlaqabad fort near Delhi. Muhammad bin Tughlaq was then one of the influential personality, most prominent sultan of the dynasty. He expanded the Delhi Sultanate to its largest extent that we see today. He is known for his intelligence, but also for his field experiments, including introduction of copper coins. He introduced them first, then later he regretted it, shifting the capital from Delhi to Daulatabad, and then he had to shift it back. Then Firoz Shah Tughlaq was a cousin of Muhammad bin Tughlaq. He was focused on infrastructure. He built a lot of canals, hospitals, rest houses. He founded new cities. He wrote his autobiography, Futuhat-e Firoz Shahi. So this is the information we know about him. Then the Sayyid dynasty, then Khizr Khan. Yeah, he was basically founder of the Sayyid dynasty. He was appointed by Temur as the governor of Punjab. He claimed the dynasty claimed he was descendants of the Holy Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. The rule was confined to Delhi and its surrounding areas. Then we have the next one is the Lodi dynasty. So let me tell you about first. Let me tell you about the Temur. Temur was a Turk Mongol leader, and he sent his. He was basically his empire. The Mughal Empire was basically settled in Kazakhstan, and he sent his one of the governor, founder, journal from governor to. He sent the governor of Punjab. He made Khizr Khan the governor of Punjab. Dynasty claimed, and then they got the power because the Muslims were already there and they respected them much. So your dynasty started there. Then the Lodi dynasty, the last dynasty. Behlol Lodi was the founder, expanded the empire from Punjab to Bihar. And then Sikandar Lodi moved the capital to Agra, and Ibrahim Lodi was the last Sultan. His weak rule led to rebellion. Daulat Khan Lodi, which was his uncle, invited Babur, the ruler of Kabul at that time, to help him, leading to the first battle of Panipat and ended the Sultanate. Then there's a separate chapter about Sufism, a new culture in the subcontinent. And when we are talking about the Muslims in the subcontinent, we must talk about the Sufis as well. So Sufism is a form of Islamic mysticism that emphasizes a personal spiritual closeness to Allah. Its followers are called Sufis. Sufism is the concept in which it is the pure form of having a belief and closeness to Allah personally, spiritually. Role Sufi saints played a crucial role in spreading Islam through their simple lifestyles and teaching. The key, uh, the key saints which are discussed in your book are the Zata Ganjbakh, Sheikh Sayyid Ali Al Hajweri. He stayed there at the time between 1009 to 1072. He was a Persian mystic from Ghazni, buried in Lahore. His teaching led many to convert to Islam. So the main role behind why we are discussing Sufis in the subcontinent, or why we are discussing here in Muslim in subcontinent chapter, is so that we know about that how the Sufism, the Sufi people, the Sufi saints, how they contributed to conversion of Muslims in this area and how it made the empire stronger. So this is the main concept behind doing that. Khwaja Muinuddin Chishti brought the Chishtiya Silsila order to the subcontinent. Then his followers usually stayed in Ajmer, and then he had all kind of people who used to believe on him. Baba Farid Ganchakar, Sheikh Fariduddin, he was a Sufi born near Multan. He was the first to compose Sufi poetry in Punjabi language. Then we have Bahauddin Zikriya brought the Sohrawardi order to the Multan. He was known for his piety and services to the community. Then we have Sufi terminology. Some of the Arabic term for Sufism and Sufi derived from the Suf word meaning rule. referring to the simple woolen garments worn by early Sufis. Then there comes the Mughal Empire, a very important empire that we have to do. One of the very important chapter of your book, origin and foundation. We already discussed that this was the Hello Lodi, which was defeated by Babur. Rise from decline. The decline of the Delhi Sultanate paved the way for the Mughal Empire, another Muslim empire. The Mughals were proud of um, they were very proud of their line, their family line, because from father's side they were descendants of Timur. The Timur I had discussed, the Mongol, the power which was in Kazakhstan and Central Asia, the Turk Mongol leader who captured the Delhi in 1398 and appointed the Sayyid Fizar Khan. And mother side they belonged to Genghis Khan, who was purely a Mongol leader. So the founder was Zahiruddin Muhammad Babur, a prince from Central Asia who lost his ancestral capital but seized Kabul in 1604. He dreamed of conquering Hindustan subcontinent, and then the dream came true because he was invited by Daulat Khan Lodi, the governor of Lahore, to overthrow Sultan Ibrahim Lodi. Then the first battle of Panipat was fought. Forces Babur had 10,000 troops, but a key advantage he had the cannons at that time. Ibrahim Lodi has 1 lakh men in war elephants. Outcome was that Babur's superior tactics and use of gunpowder weapons such as cannons led to a decisive victory. Ibrahim Lodi was killed. Significance was that he brought the end to the Delhi Sultanate after 320 years and started the beginning of the Mughal Empire. Babur went on a defeat. Babur went on a defeat the Rajput at Khanwa in 1527, expanded his empire. Then Afghan interruptions and restoration. It happened between 1530 to 1556. Humayun, then the Babur son, took over the power. He was inexperienced and faced many conspiracies. He was defeated by Afghan general Sher Shah Suri in the Battle of Chausa and Kannauj, forcing him to exile for 15 years. Sher Shah Suri, a brilliant administrator, his reign was a milestone. Key reforms that he done was to fix the government share of product at 1/3. He did set up a simple and efficient system for tax collection. He reorganized the monetary system and included the rupee. He built the famous Grand Trunk Road, GT Road, that we still use to improve trade and communication. He governed the continued the panchayat system for local dispute resolution, and Humayun restoration then done after Sher Shah Suri's death. Humayun saw an opportunity and regained his throne, but died a year later, and he brought the Persian culture and influence to the court because he was exiled there. Then Akbar the Great got the power, and that's how the empire started its peak. Ascended the throne at 13 under the regent, like one of the governors that helped him take the power, the Behram Khan. Second battle of Panipat then was fought between Himu and Akbar, and defeated Himu, a powerful general who had captured Delhi and Agra. A victory firmly re-established the Mughal Empire. Expansion added many regions to his empire, including Gujarat, Bihar, Bengal, Kashmir, Sindh, and Balochistan. We are talking about Akbar the Great. His Rajput policy was very smart. He realized their importance and won them over through alliances. So he thought, I can't defeat them alone, so I have to accept them doing an alliance. Matrimonial ties, like he married the Hindu women there. He married Jodhabai by giving them high ranks, and then he made like a good partnership with them. Mewar under Maharana Pratap Singh was the only state that resisted fiercely. Then his administrative reforms include the Mansabdari Nizam, which was a ranking system in government officials that determined their military and civil duties and their salaries. He divided the empire into provinces, like which he called the Sarkar, and appointed governors. There he adopted Sher Shah Suri's fair tax system. His social reforms were banned slavery, removed the jizya tax on non-Muslims, and ended any kind of tax on Hindus. Then trade supported a strong trade system and abolished in many inland tolls. Like we had to pay from place to place in the Mughal Empire. He removed all those sanctions. Then the time of Jahangir started, who was son of Akbar, 1605 to 1627. His name means the conqueror of the world. He continued the Akbar policies. He is known for chain of justice, a direct link to subject to obedience to the emperor. So what he did was that in his courtyard, what he did was he made the chain of justice. So anyone who would pull the chain would be called for justice. They would call the king or the Jahangir directly for the justice. He was a great patron, like lover of art, particularly the miniature painting he really liked. Noor Jahan, the most powerful Mughal empress, she was Jahangir's wife who effectively ran the empire and was the only Mughal emperor to have coins minted in her name. Then we have Shah Jahan, a Mughal emperor reached its grandest and most magnificent period during his reign. He was a great patron of architect, like he loved architect. His most famous creation is Taj Mahal, built as the tomb for his wife Mumtaz Mahal. He also built the Peacock Thorn, the Red Fort, the Shalimar Garden in Lahore. He was deposed by his son Aurangzeb. Aurangzeb Alamgir, considered the last great Mughal ruler, Alamgir was also known as conqueror of the world, expanded the empire to its greater extent. He was pure Muslim, like a very religious kind of Muslim. His policies, however, led to the religious and political intolerance. He reimposed the jizya again on the non-Muslims and restricted religious festivals because he was very pious. Yeah, this led to widespread rebellions from Marathas, Rajputs, and Sikhs. Then we have this decline and end of the era. After Aurangzeb from 1772 onwards, Bahadur Shah I tried to compromise with the rising powers like Marathas, Sikhs, but failed. And then later they declined. Internal fighting started because for the succession wars weakened the empire. Rising regional powers like Marathas became powerful. Hyderabad, Oud, and Bengal became powerful. Foreign invasions started to happen from the Persia. The Nadir Shah was defeated from Afghan. Ahmad Shah Abdali invaded and plundered Delhi. Economic problems were there. The treasury was depleted by the very extravagant port life and constant military campaigns. British intervened. The rise of independent provinces and internal instability allowed the British East India Company to interfere in local politics. The last emperor then was the Bahadur Shah Zafar, was the last Mughal emperor. Following the War of Independence, the British deposed him and exiled him, officially ended the Mughal Empire. Then the very last thing is the life and culture under the Mughal Empire. Society, a rich hierarchical structure with the emperor at the top, followed by the nobility, then military, then common people. So that society was diverse, including Muslims, Hindus, Sikhs, and others. Political unity, the Mughals were one of the few empires to unify large parts of the subcontinent. Most rulers, especially Akbar, ensured a balance of socio-economic interest for non-Muslims. He led to a peaceful coexistence. He prohibited the slavery. He allowed widow remarriage. He forbade the concept of the sati, in which the wife was burned after their husband dies. Art and architect, like miniature painting, Jahangir loved it. Then architecture was loved by Shah Jahan, so they worked a lot on it. They made domes, minarets, arches. They showed the passion of Jali. They focused on the floral designs. They incorporated the Persian culture. The famous building made by them are Taj Mahal, Red Fort, Jama Masjid, Shalimar Garden, and Fatehpur. All these reforms are made by the Mughals. That was all about the Mughal Empire. I hope it was helpful. If you have any conclusion, you can leave a message in this video, or you can post the message in your Google Classroom if you find anything difficult. I will also share a set of questions with you, which will be helpful as a helpful resource for your preparation. You can go through them and prepare them accordingly. Do the reading, highlight the important points, and it will be a great resource for you. Thank you.